This talk is going to be dedicated to Stephanie Elizabeth Plotkin and the number 5. My name is Patricia George Zwicker, and I am editor of Autistic Aloud, a growing grassroots magazine published by Autism Nova Scotia. I'm a very creative person, though possibly really a chinchilla in disguise. A disability rights advocate, and I have a confession to make here today during this panel on the Unspoken Price of Advocacy from a first person's perspective. Change the slide, please. I'm full of ick, as it goes. I'm dyslexic, I'm dyspraxic, I'm epileptic, and I'm autistic. But you don't look autistic, Patricia. Does that unexplained pause make you feel uncomfortable? Maybe confused? Sit with that feeling, if it did. It's important that you do. 5 words. But you don't look autistic. Those words never lose their impact or their sting. They never not cut coming and going, a double-edged sword, if you will. No matter how many times I script for a witty answer or even to create a teachable moment, it still takes me off guard. It uncovers a seed that has only had 6 years to grow and is still establishing its roots while stretching towards the sun. You're not like my child. 5 words that punch holes in the souls of many autistic adults. You may not hear it, but we hear it in each other, the low hiss of air leaking until we feel completely deflated. So we do our best to patch each other's holes and lift each other back up, hoping that when our own balloon deflates, our community will be there to patch our leaks in return. Change slide, please. I've come to start calling it autistic oxygen. This is for many reasons, and some of them are deeply personal. I came to start my journey on this road to my autistic identity and advocating when I started having seizures just over 6 years ago in late 2011. Then early 2012, something happened to me that many, including myself, find hard to comprehend. I seized for 50 minutes. You don't breathe when you're seizing. Your brain becomes robbed of precious oxygen. To minimize the effects of that, oxygen is hand-pumped into you in hopes of saving your brain. When nothing else worked, I was placed in a coma. And while in the coma, I flatlined, and I was resuscitated. For me, this has not been limited to a medical experience only. All that seizing and dying in oxygen, I was transforming into who I was born being, autistic. You should know that identity-first language is pure joy for many. It's like taking off the itchiest clothes you've ever had to wear and feeling fur as soft as my chinchillas surrounding you. The words epilepsy and autism arrived the same week, which was 43 years into my life. It would be the last time I would have to crash and burn without knowing what was really happening to me. The lifelong cycle that chewed me up and spit me out over and over again, making me feel more and more wrong each time, making me feel sicker in every aspect and affecting every relationship. But now here I was given a thunderbolt with a life ring. I think I just came up with my idea for my first tattoo. We've heard a lot about numbers over the last few days. I like numbers a lot. They let us see inside situations and they give us a chance for perspective change. I have a number that I believe will change your perspective about some things. 54. That's my life expectancy as an autistic adult. I turned 49 last month. 5 more years. I can only speak for myself when it comes to why, when faced with such numbers, I've chosen this path of advocacy. Why, when faced with such limited time and resources, do I spend a significant amount of it advocating? I don't have a choice, actually. There's not really a way for me to sit back and do nothing. I don't know how to do that, and so by my very nature, I've signed up for a very wrought path that once had me singled out on Twitter by William Shatner. Yes, Captain James T. Kirk, and I was bullied by thousands. That happened when I was here last year. As I was literally standing on the steps of Parliament for Autism on the Hill, I discovered he had locked me out of my Twitter account. Someone I looked up to my entire life took me down because they could, because I dared to advocate, and because I asked him to reconsider lighting it up blue. Then to come here and to feel as though I had to beg for cap when there were far too many egos and attitudes standing in the way. A time's up shift needs to happen on the Canadian autism professional landscape. We know way more about what's going on behind the scenes than you think we do. I will be brutally honest with you. That all broke me. Part of the reason I've come back here this year is because I need to find a way to heal from all that happened. I need to let you know that I am not, can't, and won't be a token ever again. Don't ever tokenize any of us ever again. Please go to the last slide. You'll have to skip to. I was asked to consider what my call to action to you all would be. Wow. To try and take the thoughts and feelings and emotions of what it means to take on a role as an advocate, and to make it succinct and yet emotional enough to reach through the bits and pieces that separate us. So I picked up Autistic's Aloud and I flipped through it for inspiration, and the words, they came. 5 words. They are the remedy to you do not look autistic, to you're not like my child. Nothing about us without us. Oh, my medication just came up. How ironic is that they saved my life? That's my call to action. It's not complicated, it's right, and it will save lives. You've taken an important step to doing that with a summit, but you're skimming the surface. You have to go so much deeper, as deep as we have to go to survive life on a planet with other humans that see us as less than, who want to medicalize us, cure us, fix us, compare us to cancer. Don't ever compare autism to cancer again. Walk out of this room and make a pact to yourself that you will never, ever compare autism to cancer again. We've reached the limit of that, and we will not tolerate it any longer. You need to feel that discomfort. You need to feel the weight. You need to let you wiggle in your seat, and you need to be afraid of being called out for being different than those around you. Let it poke at your privilege to call yourselves professionals over the lives of other human beings who are so often sitting right in front of you. You've noticed that one of our panelists, Bruno, is not here. That is because the unspoken price today was far too high. Earlier this week, Bruno's best friend took her life. She was just 35. So now we must rally around Bruno. We must fill his balloon with autistic oxygen and somehow soften this blow so that we don't lose him too. The unspoken price of advocacy is being spoken. I desperately hope that you're listening. Thanks.